Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Akzo Nobel India Limited Q1 FY26 earnings webinar. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the conclusion of presentation and management remarks. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Manoj Menon from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Hey, hi everyone, joined the call today. It's a warm welcome from ISEC team, and it's an absolute pleasure as always for many years now to continue to host the Akzo Nobel India quarterly call. Thanks to the management giving us the opportunity. The management today continues to be represented by Mr. Rajiv Rajgopal, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Krishna Rellapalli, CFO and Whole-Time Director, Mr. Rajiv Jha, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer, and today also joined by Mr. Rohit Totla, MSU Director, India Decorative Paints and Executive Director, Akzo Nobel India Limited. I'll hand over the baton to Rajiv Rajgopal for the original, initial remarks, and then after that we'll open the floor for Q&A. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manoj. Good afternoon to all the shareholders. It's wonderful to get a chance to interact with all of you again. I just thought, we've loaded the deck onto the website, so I'm not going to run through a canned presentation because I think the real meat is in taking some of the questions you may have. You've seen our results, and as I've always promised to you, it's not just when we have great or very strong quarters, but even like the one which we've just completed. We've had a relatively difficult quarter. We are here in front of you to be able to take questions and answer you to the best of our, to the best extent we can in all transparency. Yeah. On the quarter that's just gone by, as we've presented, we've had a revenue decline of about 4%, and the volumes were of course a little lower. We were flattish in volumes. In the decorative paint business, the decline was in line, marginally higher than the decline of the company. And the coatings business, which has been really growing very high single digit, also we witnessed a very low single digit growth, right? If you can see the numbers, you would see that between the revenue and EBIT, the margins, the gross margins, there is a bit of dilution. That's largely because of two reasons. One, the mix of the businesses was more skewed towards the lower margin businesses, particularly, some of our businesses like coil, coatings, and relatively on some of the low margin products within the coatings business, while we had a sort of a flattish performance on a high margin business, particularly vehicle refinish, right? In the decorative paints, our margins were pretty much flattish. Our challenge was more from a cost perspective, and that's largely because we've made certain future investments for growth, which is the reason you see between the GM and EBIT and the EBITDA, the drop, because we worked on certain futuristic projects, particularly digital projects of really looking at creating the next wave on things like lead management, etc., where Rohit and team are working on, and we've completed that project, and now we are trying to take it across the country. Yeah, so that's really what we have. I thought I'll just give you some color to the way the businesses have gone. We've obviously continued our march. For us, if you look at the quarter, it was June, which was a huge aberration. June, we saw a huge decline, and that perhaps had also to do with the strategic review, as I've said in the morning during my television interview, saying that, look, we did see a bit of a decline. Some of it we had envisaged and anticipated. We did call our 700 dealers into Kolkata in the mid of June to reassure them that at that point of time, before the final, winner or the buyer was announced, that we would continue to serve you well. But again, during the last week, once the announcement was made, there was a little bit of apprehension by our dealers and customers in terms of warranty, how that will be taken, etc. Much of it has been sorted out in the month of July, which is why perhaps we've seen a good bounce back in July against what I think has still been a bit of a tepid growth for the industry. Yeah, so our bounce back is more to do with the fact that you've got average June and July. It would also indicate to you how it is. We continue to really be focused in our markets, and we continue to make sure that we are, addressing our customer issues and being able to solve them. And obviously, now that the entire strategic review is over and, we are now working very closely to make sure that we get the revenue trajectory back to the areas and move back to becoming the top two on incremental growth and eventually, start moving towards becoming the fastest growth player. That's really where it is. I'll invite Krishna to say a few comments.
I think, Rajiv, you largely summed it up. I think it's one of the big, we would perceive this as thing. And I think we will be back in the trajectory where we intend to be. And with that, we can ask Manoj to open the question and answer.
Yeah. So if there's nothing else, of course, we are joined by Rajiv Jha, who's sitting with us, and Rohit, who's dialed in from Calcutta. We try to make sure that we win hugely in East, so he's there. Right. So with this, Manoj, back to you.
Yeah. Hi, team. Please, I can see one, participant in the voice, and nothing in the text as of now. But we will start the Q&A, please.
Thank you very much. We will now begin with the question and answer session. To ask a question, click on the raise hand icon tab available on your toolbar or on the QA tab available on your screen. Kindly turn on your mic when the operator announces your name. Our first question comes from the line of Lakshmi Narayanan Ganapati from Tunga Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Rajiv and team. Thank you.
Lakshmi, you'll have to be a little louder.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, clear, Lakshmi. Good afternoon.
Just want to understand, how what would be the management going forward? Will there be a change in the senior management? How do you think about it? And what has been did you see any increase in attrition at the mid-management level in the last 3 to 6 months? And how are you addressing that?
Yeah. So look, to answer Lakshmi, first and foremost, the brief we've got from Mr. Parth Jindal, who actually was very kind enough to visit our office with our CEO, global CEO. He addressed the team, and I think his presence has lifted the spirits of the entire team because they very high energy, very high clarity of thought, and very clear in terms of the warm welcome he's given to the Akzo Nobel India family. So I think with that itself will give you a indication of the fact that people are quite enthused. Remember that this is one of the most dynamic and fast-growing conglomerates in the country, right? So I think it's a great opportunity for everybody. As far as the management is concerned, at this point of time, Parth intends to run the two companies separately for a period of time, so everybody remains as is. And period of time, I think it will be more appropriate if he answers. But to the best of my knowledge, both the teams and obviously, all the great performers will be very much a part of the story. Yeah? If I were to just, sort of guess it, right? Second, to your second part, as far as attrition is concerned, look, attrition had gone up about 4 or 5 months ago in the front line. And that was, strategic review only being one small reason of it. I think there are various other reasons, but that's now sort of tapered along. Our challenge was not in attrition. Our challenge was in the recruitment of people that we were, because a lot of people at the point of joining, because of the confusion, not being clear in terms of who the buyer is, were taking time, they wanted to be clear, etc. That's also sort of now a little behind us. So that's where we are. Are we seeing in the middle management and senior management any attrition? Senior management, in my, the reports, no, none. And in the middle management, there have been 1 or 2, which is insignificant given the population that we have. But suffice to say that we've not really lost any heavy.
Particularly for you,
yes.
Sorry. So Raji, in particular, I think you are taking a larger role in Akzo, driving from Asia Pacific, the entire thing, not wrong. So how would your role change? You would part global conglomerate, or you would part the operation?
Well, yeah, it is going to be a change for me because I handle South Asia and Middle East. So I have started resigning from the boards of the Middle East companies in a phased manner. It will complete by the time the entire transaction is done, end of December. Look, I'm, for me, I think being, I think I always believe that a leader never quits, and a leader, that's a message I got from one of my mentors, who happens to be Suresh Narayan, who was the CMMD who just retired from Nestle, and he ran by his personal story where I went through those moments of life during tough moments of life, right? So, I'm blessed. I think I got a lot of good, advice, and I'm thrilled. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, this is my team, this is my organization, and Parth has been very welcoming. Obviously, we haven't got to discussing the contours of the role, etc. But suffice to say, he has been very, very supportive. And obviously, I think again, it's for him to outline what he really would do. But for the moment, I think me and the team are very happy to be a part of the transaction and part of the Akzo Nobel India group, which is moving to the JSW group.
Yeah, it's wonderful because I think I've been tracking Akzo Nobel as an investor in the last couple of years, and I've seen how the company has gone from strength to strength with the leadership, which I can see on my screen. Right? I think it's good to have the entire team taking the company to the next level under the new logo, if I can use the word. Right? And the second question which I had is that, or the third question is that. Did you roll out employee salary increases that happened in January, or for you it happened
April 1st.
in the in April, May? Because so that's how the employee cost has actually kind of gone up, right?
Yeah, that's
what
right.
What kind of increment average has been given for the company across the board?
The average increment was approximately about 5.7%, just about between 5 point, yeah. But then we also had to make sure that for particularly our frontline sales officers, etc., we roll in, because of the higher attrition, we wanted to make sure that we retain them. So keeping all that in account, as Krishna said, the average would work out to approximately about 6.5%. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much. I'll come back into Rajiv and Tim. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
But Lakshmi, I also wanted to tell you, the team at JSW Paints is also a very good team. Since I've had Krishna, me and Rohit have had the fortune of meeting them, so I think we are thrilled. I think you should look for exciting times ahead as a shareholder. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Niharika Karnani from CapGrow Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, team. So I had a question on revenue. So what would be the revenue growth drivers from here on? And I mean, is the entire paint industry going through a lull phase right now? Is our competition also facing the same? And what we plan to do differently to capture more market share first? And second, I mean, you would be running both both the companies would be run separately as of now, you told. So in future, would there be a single brand going forward, or how would be the integration part?
So again, I think first let me address the first part of your question. Look, I think the listed players are seeing the growth. You can average it out. It's pretty flattish when you take all the results. At least the top 4 players have all around, right? So, and if you take the last 3-4 quarters with 52% of the industry having a decline, right? So obviously it was a decline, but I think things are improving, and I think that's what you heard from all my peers, from all my counterparts, and that's fairly indicative. So I think that's the first. The second is, look, I strongly believe that except for one or maybe one or two new players, I think the biggest the biggest battle we were having was with the newcomer who obviously put in a lot of volume and revenue into the market. What we are observing from the largest player, and Rohit is of the call, is the fact that we've started now in many markets seeing that the volume started averaging and revenue started averaging out, right? We believe that in our case, in many of the markets, both across West, East, in particular, definitely some pockets of North, we are starting to get our lapsed dealers back, right? There's a program that Rohit and team are very well executing in terms of getting our lapsed dealers back. Yes, there are a few markets where there are still some challenges, particularly in the southern part of the country, and we are trying to address it. Hopefully, my belief is, look, the fundamental in the Diwali quarter, which is the October-December period, you'll see a bit of a growth, largely because of the spurt that would happen because of consumption. Because consumption itself has been a bit low. It's not only paints. If you look at the consumption sector, right, today we applaud 5% growth, right? And we come from a sector which used to be double-digit growth till a year ago. So I think I think that consumption itself will start seeing an uptick. We used to say that paints will be ideally 1.2 to 1.5 times GDP. Now you've come to half, 0.3 to 0.6 of GDP, right? So my belief is it will climb to 1 and then go up. So that will give you a bit of a tailwind. Second, what are we doing? I think if you look at the growth in the market, it's largely coming from mass economy, texture, putty, and construction chemicals. We're not even present in construction chemicals. We've just launched. Rohit and team have just started launching it, and I'm talking on the decorative side, in the projects in a very small manner. Over the period of the year, you will see more of it. The team is working on a lot of launches, new product innovations, and that will also give a huge impetus in terms of growth. I believe that the growth will slowly come back, as we've started seeing. But yeah, there's a lot in terms of execution excellence, which will also drive it. On a coating side, look, some of our businesses have come back. Marine and protective is cyclical. The order book is strong, and we will see stronger growth in the next quarter, because last year, this quarter had a high base with a lot of projects which were one time, including the naval ships that we painted, et cetera, for the Indian Navy. Those were one-time projects which came in that last year, this quarter. But we've got a good order book, and we should be back to growth. So not fundamentally worried. In terms of the second part of the question on JSW brands, et cetera, that's currently, we are kick-starting that activity. It will take time. In terms of what the company brand should be, because Akzo Nobel India can be used for a year. After that, we'll have to migrate to a new name. And that's something that the JSW Group and some of our team members are working together jointly, and we will come back to you when we have adequate information on this thing. Hopefully, I answered all your questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for such a detailed explanation on all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Mathangi Anirudh from Motilal Oswal Financial Services Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, Mathangi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I just had a couple of questions in the retail segment. So I think there are a couple of new players like Grasim and all, and they have a good network of distribution and dealers as well, and they might be leveraging their Birla network for this as well. I was just wondering if Akzo Nobel plans on bettering the distribution network. If yes, are there any numbers I can get on this front?
So let me first check if Rohit, can you take that on? Yeah, and if you can answer, then I'll add to what you said.
Yeah. So we have a very established network currently, and we are expanding it continuously. So it's Akzo Nobel only, which is where the route to market is quite different from rest of the players in paint industry, where we have used classical FMCG model of distributor, because paint as an industry requires faster servicing. What we traveled is last 10 years, we have added 4,000 new towns to our journey. We traveled from 1,400 towns to 5,500 plus towns. And our ambition is to continuously reach to close to 8,000 towns in next 2 years. So this is where we are expanding, and we are expanding our point of sale tinting network also, which is continuously ramping up. So our aim is to reach close to 70% of our network of sale tinting.
Thank you, Rohit. See, there are two parts to this. One is, of course, the physicality of the distribution network being there. The second is to enable that you need a portfolio. Ultimately, outlets keep categories and portfolio. So what Rohit was talking about is the traditional paints outlets and distribution. What Rohit and team are also working is, obviously, there's a construction chemical business where only 40% of the paint outlets actually caters to. So the team is also looking at scoping and looking at what are the outlets where we can incrementally add, right? And this is all standalone. I'm talking of us as Akzo Nobel India standalone, right? So that's really the focus, Mathangi.
Got it. Thank you so much for a detailed answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next follow-up question coming from the line of Lakshmi Narayanan Ganpati from Tunga Investments. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you mentioned that Akzo name can be used only for 1 year.
Sorry?
Dulux name, that Dulux name is actually...
No, Dulux
You mentioned that Akzo Nobel name can be used for a year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Dulux has been bought over by Akzo Nobel India.
What about the Dulux name?
The Dulux name and the entire IPRs have been bought over by Akzo Nobel India and is a part of the entire transaction which has got acquired by the JSW Paints company. Yeah. Thank you.
So you can the name.
Dulux will obviously be. It's the flagship. It is the main. It is the reason, or the raison d'être for the transaction. So that's the reason, Lakshmi.
What about the other names like Interpon and all those things?
Interpon is a powder coating. Interpon is a company which is, Interpon is powder coating, which has now been a part of the transaction where we've sold it to Akzo Nobel Global, which is the reason why we got the money and the dividend that we were able to give. Right? That now is a separately, privately owned company of Akzo Nobel, unlisted. Right? International Seconds and Vehicle Refinish, these are brands which will continue to be owned by Akzo Nobel, but is a part of the transaction and will be manufactured and sold by the JSW Akzo Nobel, or whatever we call the new entity. Yeah.
Got it. And what about the names like Weather Shield Protect or Aquatech?
Those are So the first is the company brand, the second is the master brand, the third is the brand which is under use, which is Velvet Touch, Weather Shield. All that will continue. There's no change in anything at all.
Got it. And can you just give a mix of your B2B, B2C, and project business? Because you mentioned in your presentation.
See, Deco is 80-20.
Faster and the mix change. Can you just give some?
Lakshmi, so request that we also allow others. So I'll just give you a quick number, but I thought by now you're an expert on this. Decorative is 80-20 retail projects. Overall, paints coatings is somewhere between 57-43. It can be 55-45. It can be 60-40. Depends on. It can even be 51-49. Depends on the season, right? For example, now as we get into the decorative season ahead, it will be largely decorative. In the quarter which has gone by, obviously because of various reasons and because of the impact on decorative, it was obviously coatings did better. Fundamentally, it's been the ratio. If I take a 3-year average, it's around 57-43 or a 60-40. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thank you.
You have the next question?
Certainly. The next question comes from the line of Diya Brijwani from White Whales. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Ms. Brijwani, your line is unmuted. Please proceed with your question.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Hi. Thanks for the opportunity. I had I needed some color on the industrial side of the business. Can you give some sense as to within I got your point on marine being a little cyclical, and if you can give some color on whether in auto have we gained market share, how has the industry been, and how are we performing? And secondly, do we also get some kind of synergy in the industrials as well with the JSW group, or is it purely on the decorative side?
Would be some synergy on the industrial. To take the last part of your question, the JSW group is very, very big in the industrial coatings, coil coating in particular, and they already have made foray into some of the other businesses. So that's one. Two, in terms of the business, look, on vehicle refinish, we've had a very flattish quarter, but obviously that's an area where we have been gaining market share, but in the last quarter, obviously, I would need to wait for all the numbers to come to be able to address that specific answer. I think the good part in the vehicle refinishes, our premium business has grown very well, right? Our entire problem was in the mass and in the low-end products, which is what the team is working to address now as we move forward, right? I think we've got, we don't play in the OEM business. In the OEMs, and we only play in the automotive plastics, plastic, both exterior, interior of the car, of the vehicle. And we've got a good, collaboration with some of the largest OEMs, whether it's Mahindra, with Tata Motors, MG. We've got, good share, and I think we are now working together. I think one of the benefits, and that's obviously post the synergy, post the entire deal being completed, is we'll obviously get to learn a lot from the JSW Group, which has now established itself in the auto business. But it's early days. I mean, obviously, that's post the transaction. At this point of time, we standalone are working with our existing partners, whom I mentioned, in trying to get a fair share of the market.
Got it. That's helpful. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Aniruddha Joshi. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, just one question. Now that powder coating business is going out, so whether it will be possible to share pro forma numbers for Q1 FY26, assuming if the transaction was done on 1st of April. So what will be the indicative numbers that will remain with the existing shareholders of the Akzo? Secondly, also in terms of royalty will also reduce. So what will be the indicative net of royalty, other expenditure, if you can share these two things? That is on question number one. And question number two, now in terms of, I guess some of the trade would also have got impacted because of the change of hands as well. So there would be some amount of impact on the trade stocking as well. So how do we see the trade stocking in a way changing, let's say in the month of July, or has it come back to the completely normal, or still some impact or pain is still there in the trade also? So if you can maybe share qualitative aspects on this, it will be helpful.
Yeah. So I'll start, Rohit. You can add, anything that I'm saying. Look, our impact in June, Anirudh, was largely, and I think you all have covered it well. You got your ears to the ground very well, I must say, is the fact that, between the 15th and 30th, we saw a bit, and it's not that we didn't address it. Rohit had already anticipated with his team. We had about 700 dealers. I'll allow him to talk through it and what we did. But what happened was, I think, obviously there were many more questions to be asked and a very short time in which we could answer, and it is a much larger universe. Remember, we cater to about 20,000 outlets, and our active is almost 14,000 on a monthly basis. So it's a large number of the 700 that came in. So obviously it took a while, but by the second week of July, we've addressed it. Rohit and I have addressed a joint letter to all our customers saying that we stand responsible for anything till the transaction gets closed. And, the JSW team, Paints team, has been very supportive in also acknowledging that, look, they will obviously continue all the activities, including warranty, that needs to be, because anyway, the warranty use has been very, very low, right? So to that extent, not much. Rohit, you want to add something? How is it in July? You're on mute, Rohit.
Yeah. So things are now, the announcements are over and that entire anxiety is over. Over and above that, what Rajiv has just alluded, we went back to retailers, clearly assuring them. At the same time, in our B2B business, which is our project business, a lot of anxiety was there, whether the places where we are issuing warranties, will those be honored or not. Even in our retail side of a business where we do retail projects, those warranties were always a question mark, and which we were able to solve. Second, Rajiv already alluded on the attrition front also, where even the employees got a lot of questions got answered, and a lot of stability started coming back, and things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and I must say two things. First, Of course, the dealer stock came down by about a week, but I think the relationship that the team has with the dealers is fantastic. Yeah, and for the team, I again would like to thank Parth for coming down to our office and addressing all the sites. He addressed the entire team, and I think the team really liked the energy and the spontaneity and the clarity with which the answers were given. And after that, we've not had any issues till now.
Okay. Sure, sir. This is helpful. And on question one?
On question one, I'll leave it to Krishna because I think we have a governance.
Anirudh, as far as the question one is concerned, 30th September financials would include all the mandatory necessary disclosures as per the listing agreement and the rules. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, sir. Just one accounting question. Now, I guess the powder coating will move to discontinued operations from 1st of July. So the accounting wise, it will come as discontinued operations till the time actual it is not, it doesn't get out of the company, correct?
So there would be some amount of reclassifications which will happen, and that we will leave it to the auditors, and then at the same time the management presentations we will give a like-to-like numbers.
Yeah, we'll give like-to-like numbers going forward.
Okay, so that will be very helpful. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question coming from the line of Avi Mehta from Macquarie. Please go ahead.
Hi,
Yeah,
Avi,
hi.
good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Rajiv. How are you? Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
So, Rajiv, I wanted to kind of just check with you. I'm sorry if I missed this earlier, but could you give me a sense on what's happening on the ground and competition? I do understand that, you're trying to juggle, the transition, but there is also a competitive landscape that has changed. The competitor has been trying to take away, influence our dealers, distributors. So if you could give me a sense on how things have panned out. There were some comments by some other peers saying that dealers are coming back to them. Would love to know your take on these things, please.
So, Avi, let me ask Rohit because he's right now in the. And then I'll come back after you.
Yeah.
So, Avi, thank you for this question. And then,
Yes, Rohit. Should I go on mute? Is that?
Yeah.
Are you able to? Please go on.
I believe there was Okay. You can hear me now? Yeah. Okay. So, first, one.
Yes, I can hear you loudly.
Yeah. So we, for us, there are definitely there is an aggressive competition which has entered, but by and large, thanks to all the work which we have put in, we were able to protect our channel largely. We had one good thing which was an advantage to us is we had a different route to market, which is our distributor model, and first we did distributor 1.0 and now distributor 2.0, which is to do with the distributor or a micro distributor. As a result, we kept on expanding. So that particular aspect is there. Second thing, which is wherever we saw an action, we were very quick in talking to our retailers and bringing them back to the fold. What we called a program called Ghar Wapsi, and that is where within a quarter we were able to bring back. So for last 4 or 5 quarters, I would be saying the last quarter, 5 quarters, competition was there. This aggressive competition was there, but we were able to do better than the market. So this is just a proof of pudding.
So, Avi, let me just add. Look, if I break India into 4 regions, Northwest, East and South, I think the impact of the new competition was highest in South, followed by a bit in West, Punjab in North largely, and East has been very minimal. We have the highest market share in East. So to that extent, the impact in East has been more for consumption and some internal execution issues and nothing to do with new competition. It's existing competitors, particularly the number two player, etc., who had been doing well there. We believe that again, to get back to the top two growth, that's an area that we need to work, and that's one of the reasons Rohit is there, right? If you look at South, we believe that in some of the states we've really come back. We have negligible presence in Andhra and Telangana, and we've taken a huge bet of now, after many years, putting down specific resources in specific towns to start win back, and Rohit's really trying to drive that aggressively. To the point that you made, that some players said that, look, it is true. If you look at in some of the markets where competitive intensity was very high, we had dealer attrition. But like Rohit said, we saw this coming about 2 months ago. It's just that we've not articulated because, our belief is that, we are focused on our stuff in terms of how we can win back customers. And it's not about the statements we make. It's about, the runs we score. So yes, in some of the places, as I said, the competitive intensity of the most aggressive player amongst the newcomers obviously has tapered off a bit, and that's why dealers are coming back and a quotient of business has come back. But remember that for us, our strength has been premium, and we continue to do well. Our challenge has been the mid-end economy, and that's where we are strengthening ourselves without diluting margins significantly. So that's an area that we are working on. We are working in terms of our entire propositions as far as painter and contractor. And as I said, we made a significant investment, right, with a top tier firm to really start this entire digitization on the lead management, which is going to drive both top line and help us in productivity over a long-term period. So those are some of the things that we've done. And I believe that we've taken, like the way we took distributor, which is a road less travel, I believe in some of these things we've taken a road less travel. But I do believe that in a short period of time, you'll start seeing the results.
Got it, Rajiv. Very clear on that. Just if I may, as we move now, you had Akzo, which obviously is very, very premium, gives it particular culture of how you essentially go about, approaching dealers. And then you had JSW, who has been, in a way, a new entrant of sorts, who's been also very, very aggressive on the ground. I do appreciate the joining of strengths that are coming in over here. I'm not sure one of the things that I worry about is the cultures, organization cultures. So would love to hear your thoughts on how would you look to, what in your opinion would be the way forward to best integrate these, different beasts, if I may say, while ensuring that they run together as a team. Sorry, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to understand how would you approach this. I'm not looking for an exact answer here, but would love to know your thoughts on how you're looking at this.
Yeah, look, culture is created by members in the team. I think as a leader of the person who's owning the organization, parts is clearly outlined that ultimately it's about winning in the market, and JSW being a very aggressive and dynamic group, the expectation from unlocking the value of brand Dulux and significantly putting investments behind it is to unleash. We believe that if the brand is unleashed to its true potential, the ability of the brand to unlock growth will be significantly higher. And I completely agree, having run this now for over a decade in two stints, right, that the constraint for us is as a global firm, and it's something that my global CEO said, so it's not something which is different. The global firms are constrained by percentages, percent margin, percent EBITDA, right? Not absolutes, which Indian firms look at. So I think that's the first. I think coming to your culture, I think a lot of it is defined by the people who run the organization. As I said, Avi, to an earlier question, we've got people who are well qualified on both sides of the table. And remember that JSW Paints, being a new company, has got great talent from companies like Unilever, even from Akzo Nobel, by the way, right? So I think to me, having done this exercise in my years of Unilever, I've been fortunate to do the Brook Bond Lipton integration. I've done the Unilever Brook Bond Lipton integration. I've looked Castrol, BP, and Airtel, combining of two circles. Ultimately, as long as performance gets rewarded and you put a transparent system in place, and the metrics are high, people love to be a part of a winning organization. So culture to me is going to be defined by how we sort of win. What I can reassure you is that JSW has got the highest standards of governance, right? And you'd be pleasantly surprised And what we saw when we walked in, I was myself, to be very honest, delighted to see speak up cards in almost every room that team, the team rooms where vendors and suppliers meet. That tells you the transparency of the organization, an organization for the future. And I think it's a right fit. And for us, for me, then culture becomes something which becomes a day job.
Got it, Rajiv. Thanks, Rajiv. That's all from my side. I look forward to the disclosures on eggs powder business. In particular, if it's possible, Krishna, whenever you do that, give us a sense on the royalty bit, because that unfortunately will not get till the end of the year. So that's my only request. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to the text questions. Our first text question comes from the line of Mrunmayee Joglekar from Asit C. Mehta Investment. And the question is, as the next quarter onwards, financials will be X of the powder coating business. Can you give color on the margin profile going ahead?
Krishna?
So, next quarter disclosures would be in line with the Ind AS, and which will be X of powder coatings business for the current year. These statements are likely to happen. As far as the margin profile for going ahead is a forward-looking statement, which we refrain from giving it to the investors. Thank you.
Yeah, but again, we don't want to give guidances, but when you see in color, look, remember that the highest margin business, as I've always said, is the vehicle refinish business. So, so it's not that the profile is going to get dramatically changed because of the separation of the powder business. We can definitely mention that. Yeah. There are obviously some advantages, but the other businesses are also pretty strong.
Thank you. Our next text question comes from the line of Dheeraj Dave, and the question is, any view dividend distribution policy? Would it be same as previous level distribution?
Same. There's no change in the dividend distribution policy. What we've done is, as we wanted to always delight our shareholders, as a part of the our promise to the shareholders that look, once the Akzo Nobel decided to buy out the powder coating and the IRC business, net of the IP rights and the brand Dulux rights that we've got, the net of that, net the taxes, is the dividend that got distributed amongst all the shareholders in total, right? So there will be no change to the policy, and we continue to hopefully delight the all our shareholders as we move forward. Next question.
Thank you. Yes. Our next question comes from the line of Rohan Khandare, an investor, and the question is, what will be the revenue guidance for FY26 and the EBITDA guidance?
Look, I've said this. Look, I was hoping that we would do a double digit, but obviously, given the first quarter, I have to be a little lukewarm. We've got an aggressive number which caters to about a high, single digit growth. That's what we are now focused on. I think the ball is rolling on that, right? So as far as the EBITDA guidance, I don't want to give anything. We will be in the same range that we've been over the last 2-3 quarters. We are not seeing a huge further dilution coming in. That's what I would like to say. Where we have a bit of a challenge is the fact that, and I think this is true for the industry, and different players are managing it differently, is the fact that there is obviously been an anti-dumping duty, which has a bit of an impact on all the paint players. But fortunately, we've still got a bit of stock cover that will last hopefully till end of August, September, and that's when we'll have to look at in terms of how we manage. But it's not going to be very detrimental from what we've seen so far. Krishna, you want to add something? Yeah. That's it. Back to the next question.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today.
Last question? Okay. Look, I would like to thank all of you, to all the shareholders, all the participants in the call. We continue to stay focused. I think from our perspective, execution is key, getting the momentum back and moving into becoming the top two players on incremental growth, and growth is the key that's, as they say, growth is the elixir of life. Yeah. What I would say is, look, if I look at the last quarter, because of the month of June, I think it was a bit of an ephemeral sort of a performance. But I do think that if I were to look at from a long-term perspective, that's a bit of a blip because of something which is external, which is a strategic review, right? And if I just were to keep it aside, I would only say that, look, I think the momentum, the team is putting in the best they can. We are absolutely excited to be a part of the JSW family, and we are looking forward to the completion of all the due diligence, CCI approvals, the open door, and we look forward to all your support and good wishes as we move ahead. Thank you very much. Wish all of you a great evening, and we'll stay connected. If you have any further questions at any point of time, do feel free to reach out to Rajiv Jha, our company secretary. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, with this, we conclude today's webinar. On behalf of Akzo Nobel India, we thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.